Mr. President, honorable speakers, distinguished parliamentarians, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to address the theme of science and parliaments from the point of view of small island developing states, Micronesia. At the first glance, the two realms do not have much to do with each other. The cool, pristine area of science and the hustle and bustles of politics. However, upon further thought, the two realms interact constantly because they are both part of the fabric of life. For us, small island developing states, science is what tells us what we are in trouble. With the awareness of peril of climate change, there is need to deal with this in detail here. We all know that science tells us that without political action, the fate of the earth is doomed. Science and its sister, technology, cannot be ignored, and further because of device that was introduced 10 years ago by Mr. Steve Jobs. In Micronesia, you can now go to the smallest village and watch the most traditional-looking person pull out a phone to discuss the relative merits of the latest Apple or Samsung device. I am a long-serving member of Congress, and I was able to witness step by step the developments myself. We moved from simple island environment to a modern online society, even though some of people maintain that so-called coconut wireless, that is rumors, is still the best means of communication. From the beginning of the country, the FSM Congress has embraced the progress in telecommunications. The past 20 years have seen legislation creating a telecommunication company. Investment in telegrams and telex gave way to radios and fax machines. Then matters accelerated to the introduction of the internet. The main impetus of progress was able to more available health and education resources to the outer islands. In Micronesia, the Congress has approved our most ambitious infrastructure project with assistance from the World Bank. The linkage by fiber optic cable of our main islands and their link in turn with our major trans-Pacific cable, with many of the remaining islands to be covered by satellite. This will ensure fast internet access to some of our most remote locations. Congress had to learn quick concepts such as privatizations of telecommunications services, ownership of cable assets, and regulations of services. All these developments were accompanied by legislation, with Congress taking the leadership in introduction and passing some of the most complicated for us legislation. The latest legislation had to do with the liberalization of the telecommunications market, allowing for free entry into the market with hopefully better service along with lower rates. To deal with climate change, we are moving massively into the renewable energy, with talks of hopefully meeting our Paris Agreement commitment earlier if we can manage to focus our financial resources. On the ocean, we rely on science to remind us of the limit we need to place on renewable resources such as fish catch. We also hope to use science to put into place effective protection for the ocean, in particular plastic. One main area we are hoping science will help us is the regulation of seabed resources. Congress recently adopted a seabed mining law, but much work remains to be done. On the education front, we are trying to introduce our youth to new technologies. Recently, a high school team from my home island went to a global robotics contest in Washington and won recognition for starting the high school's robotics program in the Central and Western Pacific. To the surprise and delight of many islanders, their example led to other programs being established. Of course, one question that remains unanswered is whether we can keep our people on island after they graduate to provide the skilled workforce we now require. All of the above require a different way of thinking and much help from friends and neighbors. We acknowledge the recent efforts of friends and donors in reaching out to us in friendship. We hope to build ties with other friends around the world to tackle worldwide problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you.